Today, the civilized world faces an unprecedented level of violence fueled by Islamic extremism. Recent reports indicate that over 30,000 people from over 100 different countries have traveled to the conflict zone in Syria and Iraq to wage jihad since 2011. This group includes over 4,500 Westerners and over 250 Americans who have attempted or actually joined Islamic supremacist groups. Both al-Qaeda's global network and ISIS, among several other terrorist networks around the world, promote an ideology grounded in Islamic extremism and conquest. As the Congressional Research Service has found, these terrorists use Islam as an ideological and/or religious justification for the belief in the establishment of a global caliphate, a jurisdiction governed by a Muslim civil and religious leader known as a caliph via violent means. As the ideology of militant Islam spreads, the threat to the U.S. and our allies, such as Israel, persists. Terrorist networks like al-Qaeda affiliates and ISIS, as well as extremist clerics and others, seek to spread this ideology in order to recruit, engage sympathizers, and criticize the West. Indeed, this propaganda is playing a role in promoting terrorist attacks in the U.S., where many homegrown cases of jihadi terrorism involve the use of social media. Several sources indicate that there are 90,000 pro-ISIS tweets on a daily basis, while others suggest that there may be as many as 200,000 such tweets. Accounts belonging to other foreign terrorist organizations, such as Jabhat al-Nusra, al-Qaeda's branch in Syria, have a total of over 200,000 followers and are thriving. Official Twitter accounts belonging to Jabhat al-Nusra operate much like those belonging to ISIS, tweeting similar extremist content. ISIS's use of platforms like Twitter is highly effective. YouTube videos depicting violent acts against Westerners are used to incite others to take up arms and wage jihad. While foreign fighters travel overseas for training and to make other terrorist connections, it's becoming apparent that Islamic recruits in the United States and other parts of the world who are unable to travel to these battlegrounds do not necessarily need to do so in order to receive training and inspiration. They can engage real-time with jihadists on Twitter, watch ISIS's murderous propaganda on YouTube, view jihadi selfies on Instagram, or read religious justifications for the killing of civilians on Just Paste It. The question and answer website, ask.fm, has also become a popular platform for jihadists. Unfortunately, ISIS's use of social media is believed to be resonating with vulnerable populations, particularly Muslim converts and susceptible alienated youth. However, radicalization of Americans cannot be narrowed to any single social or demographic profile. Instead, the Americans who are being radicalized to support and fight for Islamic extremists come from all walks of life. Those Americans who travel overseas to support terrorist groups can also incite others back by their actions to conduct attacks and can themselves return back to the U.S. with training to complete terrorist attacks. The bottom line is that these foreign fighters have been trained in combat, have strong ties to terrorist groups, and can recruit others to join the fight. The U.S. government has the ability under the law to revoke passports on several grounds, including reasons of national security. The administration they plan to utilize immigration controls as other countries have in order to stop foreign fighters. Nor is the danger posed to the United States by foreign fighters limited to those terrorists and adherents to terrorist groups who are U.S. citizens. In order to enter the United States, citizens of most countries must obtain visas issued at overseas embassies and consulates by the State Department. In 2014, the State Department issued almost 10 million visas to foreigners seeking temporary entry into America and nearly 500,000 immigrant visas for permanent residents. This process plays a crucial role in detecting individuals with terrorist ties and stopping them from entering the United States. Despite these safeguards, many of the subjects who have been convicted on terrorism charges in the United States since 9/11 are aliens who traveled to America on visas, including student visas, tourist visas, and green cards. This danger is compounded by the large number of foreign fighters from visa waiver countries who do not even need a visa to enter our country. Federal and state governments, as well as communities, have begun to take action to mitigate the threat of terrorist propaganda on social media. However, they have experienced multiple challenges in combating this threat. The unprecedented speed with which people are being radicalized by violent Islamist supremacists is difficult to keep up with and is straining the ability of government to monitor and intercept suspects. Jihadists using increasingly secure websites and applications and communicating in code with Americans and Westerners in the United States present even further challenges for law enforcement in tracking, identifying, and apprehending those who seek to engage in terrorist attacks. In order to combat this threat, this trend, we must ensure that law enforcement has the necessary tools to do its job. Efforts to counter and deter unconventional information warfare must be joined with other government agencies' efforts to deal with the problem of terror on social media. I thank our witnesses for their testimony today and look forward to examining issues related to the use of social media by terrorists, the extent that people are being radicalized, and what could be done to combat this growing problem. I now